What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. For the top decks I would be considering to play at Salt Lake City Regionals this weekend for the Lost Origin standard format, we'll also be doing a little bit of a metagame prediction as well. So let's just get right into the information. So these are my predictions for the meta share for Salt Lake City. I think Giratina Comfy will be up there 15%, Pocky and Teleon at 12. We'll have Lost Box with Radiant Charizard at around 10%, as well as other. You gotta expect people to be showing up with the non-meta decks as well. Just below that, Mew V Max at 9. I think Curum and Reggie will both be around 8. And then we have a good handful of decks that I'm estimating at around 5%. We have Arceus Giratina, Zoroark V-Star, Arceus Goodra, Lost Box with Radiant Greninja, and Arceus Duraludon. And then I don't think Blissey Miltank's going to be that popular. I think it's falling off because people are including counters, and the deck came out a little too early. If the deck started seeing hype like yesterday, then I'd say maybe it's a good call for SLC. But it's been around in the online events for over a week now. People know it exists, so I don't think Blissey Miltank's going to be that great of a selection to play. Now let's look at it in a different light. We're going to reorganize the data a little bit, as I like to do. It's still the same 100% breakdown. All the decks are still keeping the same percentages, but we're going to organize them a little differently. So that same sheet we just looked at could also be organized to say that Comfy decks will have a 30% share, Palkia decks will have a 20% share, and Goodra and Duraludon, if we combine those two 5%, I think you'll have a 10% chance of playing against one of them. And then everything else stays the same, and this still breaks down to be roughly 100%. So, before we go into my top 3 plays for the event, I would like to say that my 4th and 5th are Regigigas and Arceus Duraludon, but I do not have any special lists that I'm confident in for those two decks, but overall, those archetypes, I think Arceus Duraludon and Regigigas are really good plays for this event, in addition to the 3 that we're about to look at. So the first one is this what I've been calling Regigates. It's just a really good counter box because you have Snorlax that hits 180, you have Ice Cube that walls out Blissey and Reggie, you have Radiant Zard that does a lot of damage, and you have Raihan. So you can use this Radiant Zard with Raihan, Magma Basin, Mirage Gate, Twin Energy, as opposed to the Sable Zard variant where you can't do that. You have to wait until your opponent's down to 2 prizes to start using the Zard, so it has less potential, less ways to play it. I think this list is really, really, really good, and the Regigigas can take care of Mew and Curum. So I think this deck is great, but if you weren't already playing it, I probably wouldn't suggest picking it up now. Number 2, Giratina Comfy. I've played this exact list a bit, and I really like it. I think Giratina's in a great position. It doesn't have incredible matchups, but it also doesn't have bad matchups. The one thing is I would fit a Lost Vacuum into this list for things like Goodra and Arceus variants. Yeah, essentially Arceus variants, because Goodra and Dora are also going to be Arceus. And maybe Curum, anything essentially that might be playing big Parasols. I would just pop a Lost Vacuum into the deck for. But other than that, I think this deck's super strong. You can checkmate your opponents between Sableye, Cramorant, or Ninja in the active while also benching Tina as a Mirage gating to them. You have Drapion to secure the Mew matchup, which I don't think is even necessary. I don't think Mew will be that popular. But you could always just keep the Drapion because if you do run into a Mew, that makes that matchup so much better. And then even Lumineon could be an attacker in this matchup after you use it to get your early chorus. And then the last one is going to be Arceus and Teleon, and this is my personal list, and I think I've optimized this thing out the wazoo. I'm not really sure I could optimize this list any further. Uh, this feels close to perfect for Arceus and Teleon in this format, and I really like my matchups in this format. I think people are just a little too afraid of Palkia and Teleon to play this deck, and I'm not that afraid of Palkia and Teleon when I'm piloting AI. So yeah, I mean, this is good against Lost Box. It's good against Tinas that aren't playing Lost Vacuum. It has the data shows that it's favored versus Kyurem. With two Lost City, I believe you're fine into Reggie's. You scoop to Blissey Miltank. Arc Gujar can be a little rough. Arc Duraludon's a good matchup. But again, this is probably not a deck I would pick up if you hadn't already been playing it. My meta calls for this event, so to speak, would be Arceus Duraludon and Regigigas, like I mentioned. And for those decks, I feel like you can kind of just go rip a list offline and off online and then change a couple cards. I don't think the list specifics are too important for Arcdura and Reggie, but I would be playing a big Parasol if you're going in with Arcdura this weekend. So those are technically my five plays that I would be considering. I personally would be between the Jeremy Gibson's Reggie Gate, Tina Comfy, and Arceus and Talion. But if I hadn't practiced any of these three, or I was just generally unfamiliar with the format, I'd play something easier like Regigigas or Arceus Duraludon, looking at what I expect the meta to be. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. Wanted to put out this short video today for all of y'all traveling to Salt Lake City. Best of luck to everyone competing. Have a great time, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.